Hello students, in the last video in quantitative analysis we completed estimation of nitrogen by Dumas method and Geldahl's method. Okay, then after that continuation in the next quantitative analysis we have the estimation of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, how to estimate the carbon and hydrogen in the given organic compound. Okay, now the estimation of carbon and hydrogen, it is known as a Liebig method. This is very important objective question. Okay, number one, carbon hydrogen estimated by Liebig's combustion method. A known mass of a organic compound is burnt in the presence of a excess of oxygen and cupric oxide. Now the carbon and hydrogen, when they present in the organic compound, they get oxidized to carbon dioxide and H2O respectively. Now this is the hydrocarbon having the carbon atom X and hydrogen atoms Y. Okay, now undergo oxidation, combustion to give carbon dioxide and water. We know the carbon get oxidized to carbon dioxide and hydrogen will undergo oxidation to give H2O. Okay, now CO2, H2O produced and their weights are determined by absorbing them into potassium hydroxide and also anhydrous calcium chloride. Here CO2 is a acidic nature oxide which was absorbed into KOH solution. Okay, so CO2 absorbed in the potassium hydroxide solution. Now here, after absorption of the CO2 into the KOH solution, the weight of the tube which containing the KOH solution will increases. The increase in the weight of the tube will corresponding to the weight of the carbon dioxide. Yes. Number two, how to determine the weight of the water. Now for the determination of weight of the water, we have to use calcium chloride, anhydrous calcium chloride, which combining with water to give calcium chloride hydrated. Okay, now this anhydrous calcium chloride become hydrated calcium chloride. Hydrated form, this will be anhydrous form. Okay, after absorption of the CO2 into KOH and water into the CaCl2, we can find the weight of CO2 and H2O. After knowing the weight of the CO2, we can find the percentage of carbon by using the formula. Percentage of carbon is equal to 12 into weight of the carbon dioxide formed divided by the CO2 molar mass is 44 into weight of the organic compound whole multiplied by 100. And similarly, weight of percentage weight of hydrogen 2 into weight of the water formed multiplied by 100 divided by 18 into divided by again weight of the organic compound. Actually this formula here carbon get oxidized to carbon dioxide. Now 44 grams of carbon dioxide, which is 1 mole, containing how many grams of carbon? 1 mole, that is 12 grams. Okay, now here x grams of carbon dioxide will containing how many grams of carbon? Unitary method, so 12 by 44 into x. This is the weight of the carbon. Okay, now this weight of carbon can be converted into percentage. Yes, how? 100 divided by weight of the organic compound. So you will get overall percentage of what? Carbon. Percentage of what? Carbon. Okay. Similarly, we can find the percentage of hydrogen also. How? Hydrogen combine with oxygen to give water. Okay. Now here 2 gram hydrogen, 18 gram water. Okay, now here 18 gram water containing how many grams of hydrogen? 2 grams. let's suppose x grams of water containing how many grams of hydrogen? Unitary method, that will be 2 by 18 into x. Okay, now you can convert it into 100%. How? Into 100 by the weight of the organic compound, you will get the percentage of hydrogen. You will get what? Percentage of hydrogen. Okay, so this method, that is the estimation of carbon and hydrogen, is known as which method? Liebig's method. Now come to experiment. This is the experiment for the determination of percentage of percentage of carbon and hydrogen, for the determination of percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, now here organic sample is there here, which was heated by supplying the pure oxygen. Okay, here we use some cupric oxide pellets. Okay, after complete combustion, the gases produced CO2 and H2O, and both are sent into first anhydrous calcium chloride, where the water will be absorbed. Here what happens? Water absorb. After absorption of water, the U-tube calcium chloride weight what happens? Increases. Then come to CO2. The CO2 gas will be absorbed into the KOH solution. After absorbing the CO2 into this KOH solution, the weight of this tube also what happens? Increases. The increase in the weight of the anhydrous calcium chloride will corresponding to how much? Weight of water. The increase in the weight of the potassium hydroxide will give the weight of carbon dioxide. Okay, now here there are some questions regarding the Liebig's method. The percentage of carbon and hydrogen in the organic compound is determined by Liebig's method. We know Dumas method, nitrogen estimation. Jaldal method is also nitrogen estimation. Now this Carrier method will be the estimation of halogens and also sulfur. We will see in the continuation. Okay, now our answer is Liebig's method. Next, second question. In the Liebig's method, for the combustion of carbon and hydrogen, the organic compound is fused with what? Cupric oxide pellets. Cupric oxide pellets. Okay, so these are the two general questions. Okay, these are the two general questions. Now come to question number 3. 0.203 grams of organic compound heated with dry cupric oxide, resultant vapor is passed into calcium chloride tube. The weight increases found to be 0.128 grams. Now just now I told you the weight increase in the CaCl2, the weight increase in the CaCl2 corresponding to the weight of what? Whom? Water molecule. That means we have here given weight of water is given. From the weight of water we can find the percentage of hydrogen. Yes, 2 by 18 into weight of water divided by weight of organic compound multiplied by 100. Multiplied by what? 100. So from here 2 by 18 into what is the weight of water given to you? What is the weight of water given to you? 0.128 whole divided by organic compound given 0.203 multiplied by 100. So the answer is 7%. That is the option number 3. Okay, next come to next problem. 0.73 grams of organic compound oxidation gave 1.32 grams of a carbon dioxide. Okay, find the percentage of the carbon. Percentage of carbon, direct we can use 12 by 44 into the mass of carbon dioxide whole divided by mass of organic compound. What is the OC? Organic compound multiplied by what? 100. Multiply what? 100. So here 12 by 44 into CO2 weight is given here 1.32, whole divided by weight of the organic compound given to you 0.73 multiplied by 100. So the answer will be 49.31%. 49.31%. Okay. Now first option is the correct answer. Okay. Now the next fifth problem is there. In this fifth problem, both the weight of carbon dioxide is given and the weight of water vapor is also given. So we can use question number 1 formula and question number 2 formula. We can find the answer. Okay. The answer will be second option. Try yourself. Okay. Now the next one is the estimation of halogens. This is known as a Carius method. Carius method. Here, a known weight of organic compound is heated with fuming nitric acid, concentrated nitric acid, in the presence of a silver nitrate. Okay, contained in a hard glass tube. That tube is known as a Carius tube. Here diagram is also given. Okay. Now the carbon, hydrogen present in the organic compound, they converted into CO2, H2O. We know in the estimation of percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, that is the Liebig's method. Now here the halogen which is present in the organic compound, will be converted into silver halide. This silver halide salt will be precipitated and it is filtered off and washed with water and dried, and finally the weight of the silver salt will be calculated. From the weight of the silver salt we can obtain the silver halide. Silver salt in the sense silver halide, we can obtain the percentage of the halogen. Okay. Now the percentage of halogen formula: weight of the atomic weight of the halogen multiplied by the silver halide weight multiplied by the 100 whole divided by the molar mass of the silver halide and weight of the organic compound. Now here organic compound, if it is containing what? Halogen. Okay, that means here we are using silver nitrate solution where the silver ions combining with halide ion X minus, they resulted into the silver halide. This is what? Silver halide. The silver halide is a precipitate. With the help of the weight of the precipitate, we can find the percentage of the halogen in the given organic compound. Okay. Now here we can apply POAC concept here. How much of the halogens will be present? They are quantitatively converted into the salt form. Okay. Now one more important thing, silver halide, there are three types of halides: chloride. There are three types of halogens we have: chlorine, bromine and iodine. These three elements are known as halogens. Of course, fluorine is also halogen, but in organic compound, in generally it is not present. We can estimate the chlorides, bromides, iodides. Okay. Now the important thing is the color of the silver halide. Okay. Now first of all we have AgCl. First silver halide is AgCl. AgCl is a white color precipitate. White color precipitate. Okay. Number 2, AgBr, which is a silver bromide. It is known as a silver bromide. The color is a pale yellow color, light yellow color precipitate. And number 3, silver iodide. This is a dark yellow, or we can say yellow color solid. These are the three colors of the silver halide salts. Okay. Now here AgCl white color, AgBr pale yellow, and AgI dark yellow color. Okay, now here we have to know the atomic masses also. Do you know silver atomic mass is 108. Chlorine atomic mass is 35.5. Bromine atomic mass is 80. Iodine atomic mass will be 127. This is very important atomic masses. Okay, we have to remember the atomic masses of silver and chlorine, bromine and iodine. Okay, now suppose Ag plus ions combine with chloride ions, let's suppose, to give AgCl. Okay, now 1 mole of a chlorine or chloride will give 1 mole of a silver chloride precipitate. Now here silver chloride molar mass 143, 108 silver is there and 35.5 chlorine is there. So here 143.5 molar mass of silver chloride. And what is the molar mass of chlorine? 35.5. Atomic mass of the chlorine 35.5. Okay, now here 143.5 grams of silver chloride containing how many grams of chlorine? 35.5. So if the weight of silver chloride, if you know, let's suppose x gram, in which how much of chlorine will be present? So we can find the mass of chlorine. Yes, how much? 35.5 by 143.5 multiplied by x. Now you can convert this mass into mass percentage. So percentage of chlorine will be equal to 35.5 by 143.5 into x by w into 100. So this is the formula to find the percentage of chlorine. What is the x value here? Mass of silver chloride. What is the w here? Weight of organic compound. That is the formula written here. This is the atomic mass of silver halogen, that is the 35.5 in case of chlorine. Weight of the silver halide x, molar mass of the silver halide in case of AgCl, that is 143.5, and in the denominator weight of the organic compound, that is the W. Okay, so we are writing the one by one formula. This is for chlorine. Now come to percentage of bromine formula. So atomic mass of bromine is 80. Molar mass of AgBr is 80 plus 108, that is 188 into weight of AgBr whole divided by weight of organic compound multiplied by 100. This is the percentage of bromine. Okay, now come to percentage of iodine. Iodine atomic mass will be 127. 127 plus 108. Okay, that is the 235. So 235 molar mass of silver iodide, weight of silver iodide divided by weight of the organic compound multiplied by 100. This is the percentage of iodine. So this is the percentage of the chlorine. Okay, now this is a Carius tube. In this tube what happens? Fuming nitric acid is taken, okay, and silver nitrate is taken, and organic compound is taken. Okay, organic compound containing halogen, if it is combining with silver ions to give silver halide, the silver halide will be precipitated here. The weight of the precipitate will be estimated. From the weight of the silver halide we can find the percentage of the corresponding halogen. Okay, now we have problems. Now in Carius method, organic compound 0.189 grams, it is giving how many grams of silver salt? 0.287 grams of silver salt. Find the percentage of the chlorine. Yes, we have the direct formula. What is the percentage of chlorine? Atomic weight of the chlorine by molar mass of the silver chloride multiplied by mass of the or weight of the AgCl formed divided by the mass of the otherwise weight of the organic compound multiplied by 100. This is the direct formula we can apply. Okay, now here here 35.5 divided by 143.5. What is the mass of the silver chloride given? 0.287 whole divided by 0.189 multiplied by 100. So the answer will be 37.56. Okay, now come to next one. In Carrier's method, the estimation of halogen 0.15 grams of organic compound gave 0.12 grams of a silver bromide. Yes. Now the question is percentage of the halogen bromine. Atomic mass of bromine 80, molar mass of AgBr 188 multiplied by mass of the AgBr divided by mass of organic compound multiplied by 100. This is the formula to calculate the percentage of the bromine. Okay, 80 divided by 188 into 0.12 divided by 0.15 multiplied by 100. Okay, so the answer will be 34.04%. Okay, now again Carrier's method, estimation of halogen, that is the bromine from the bromoalkane. Okay, now what is the weight of the precipitate obtained? 0.94 grams. So here bromoalkane, the halogen will be bromine, which will be equal to, that is the atomic mass of bromine 80, molar mass of AgBr 188 multiplied by what is the precipitate weight? 0.94. Okay, by what is the weight of the organic compound given here? What is the weight of organic compound given here? 1 gram. What is the weight of organic compound given here? 1 gram divided by 1 multiplied by 100. So answer is the 40%. Okay, now come to next one, that is the estimation of the sulfur in the given organic compound. How to estimate the sulfur? Again the formula, the method is the Carrier's method. Here also a known mass of organic compound is heated in the Carrier's tube with the sodium peroxide. Sodium peroxide is a strong oxidizing agent. It is act as a what? Strong oxidizing agent. Otherwise we can use the fuming nitric acid. The sulfur which is present in the organic compound get oxidized into sulfuric acid or in the form of sulfate also. Okay, now which will be treated with excess of barium chloride aqueous solution. The whatever the sulfate ions in the solution get precipitated in the form of a barium sulfate. It is a white color precipitate. The precipitate is filtered off and it is washed and dried, and finally the weight is calculated. Let's suppose if the organic compound containing sulfur, let's suppose oxidation with sodium peroxide or nitric acid, the sulfur get oxidized to sulfate, where it is reacting with barium ions. The excess of barium chloride solution is added to the sulfate ions, so we will get finally a white color precipitate, barium sulfate. Okay, now here the estimation of sulfur with the weight of the barium sulfate precipitate. How to calculate the percentage of sulfur? Atomic weight of the sulfur divided by molar mass of the barium sulfate multiplied by weight of the barium sulfate formed, again divided by the weight of the organic compound and multiplied by the 100. Okay, what is the atomic mass of sulfur? 32. What is the weight of the barium sulfate? That must be given in the question. Into 100 whole divided by 233. What is the 233? Molar mass of barium sulfate. Molar mass of barium sulfate, that is the 233, because barium 137, sulfate will be 96, so 233 molar mass of the barium sulfate approximately. Okay, now in this first question, organic compound of mass 0.2 grams. Okay, it is giving how many grams of barium sulfate, white color precipitate? 0.466 grams. So directly we can apply the formula: percentage of sulfur is equal to atomic mass of sulfur divided by molar mass of a barium sulfate, that is the 233, into what is the mass or weight of the barium. Directly we are applying what is the mass of the barium sulfate given in the question, 0.466, by what is the weight of the organic compound, 0.2, multiplied by 100, that is the answer, 32%. 32%. Okay, come to next problem. In this next problem, again the organic compound weight is given to you. Okay, and the next barium sulfate weight is also given to you. Same formula just in the previous case. Okay, try yourself and answer will be 42.10. 42.10. Okay, now come to phosphorus. Estimation of the phosphorus. Again, in the estimation of the phosphorus, a known weight of an organic compound is heated with fuming nitric acid. Whatever the phosphorus that is present in the compound get oxidizes into phosphoric acid or phosphate. Indirectly phosphoric acid or phosphate. Okay, this phosphoric acid is precipitated as a magnesium ammonium phosphate. The molecular formula MgNH4PO4. Okay, by addition of what? Magnesia mixture. By addition of what? Magnesia mixture. What is the formula of a magnesia mixture? MgCl2, NH4OH and NH4Cl. Okay, the magnesium ammonium phosphate, again it is heated strongly to get a magnesium pyrophosphate. The molecular formula of a magnesium pyrophosphate, Mg2P2O7. Mg2P2O7. Now here, first of all, let's suppose given organic compound containing phosphorus. So we can oxidize this organic compound with the help of nitric acid or strong oxidizing agent sodium peroxide. Whatever the phosphorus, that is quantitatively converted into phosphate or phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid molecular formula H3PO4. Okay, now this phosphoric acid or phosphate treated with whom? Magnesia mixture, so that magnesium ammonium phosphate will be formed, which is on strongly heated, it will be converted into what? Magnesium pyrophosphate, that is Mg2P2O7, whose molar mass is 32. Now here we can apply the whose molar mass is 222. 222. Now here we can apply the POIC concept also. Whatever the phosphorus present in the organic compound, now it is quantitatively converted into magnesium pyrophosphate. Okay, now in the product, how many phosphorus atoms are there? 2 phosphorus atoms are there. Each phosphorus atomic mass is the 31. So there are 2 phosphorus atoms are there. So 2 into 31, that is the 62. So 62 will be in the numerator. Okay, now what is the 222? Molar mass of the magnesium pyrophosphate, and weight of the magnesium pyrophosphate in the numerator, and weight of the organic compound in the denominator, and multiplied by the 100. Sometime the phosphoric acid can also be precipitated as a ammonium phosphomolybdate, and whose formula is ammonium phosphomolybdate. This is the NH4 taken thrice, PO4 dot 12 MoO3. What is the MO? Molybdenum. What is the MO? Molybdenum. By adding what? Ammonia and ammonium molybdate. Now here we have phosphate ions, that is phosphoric acid, and we are adding ammonia and ammonium molybdate, so that ammonium phosphomolybdate will be precipitated and whose molar mass will be 1877. From this precipitate also we can obtain the percentage of the phosphorus, but in this precipitate only one phosphorus atom is present. That's why we are taking in the numerator 31, that is the atomic mass of phosphorus, in the denominator 1877, that is the molar mass, and the weight of the ammonium phosphomolybdate on the numerator by weight of the organic compound in the denominator into 100. Okay, so this is the calculation of the percentage of the phosphorus. Here first formula, here this is the percentage of phosphorus. In this we can obtain the magnesium pyrophosphate as a precipitate. Phosphorus is obtained in the form of a magnesium pyrophosphate, and this is the second method in which the phosphorus can be obtained in the form of ammonium phosphomolybdate as a precipitate, Okay, now we have one problem here. In this problem, 0.1 grams of a organic compound containing phosphorus gave 0.222 grams of magnesium pyrophosphate. So there is a direct formula. Percentage of phosphorus is equal to how many phosphorus? 2. 31, 62. What is the molar mass of magnesium pyrophosphate? 222 into what is the weight of the magnesium pyrophosphate? 0.222. What is the weight of the organic compound given? 0.1 multiplied by what? 100. Okay, now here answer will be 62%. 62%, this is the fourth option. Okay, fourth option. Now come to one more problem is given here. 0.12 grams of organic compound and magnesium pyrophosphate weight is given, so we can directly calculate by using the formula. Just I am writing the direct answer, try yourself. Okay, now last and final one element is there, that is the estimation of oxygen. In the estimation of oxygen, usually it can be obtained by the percentage of the composition of the elements. Suppose we have different elements, carbon element is there, percentage of hydrogen, percentage of chlorine, like that. Now sum of all the percentages will be equal to 100%. Okay, suppose if the percentage of all the elements, sum of all the elements, if it is not equal to 100, then the rest of the element may be oxygen. So this is the first method to calculate the percentage of oxygen, that is 100 minus of the percentage of the sum of the percentage of all other elements. Okay, now next point, oxygen present in the organic compound can also be estimated as follows. A definite mass of a organic compound is decomposed by heating in the nitrogen gas, steam of nitrogen gas. The mixture of gaseous products containing oxygen, okay, it is passed over the red hot coke. Then what about all the oxygens that will be converted into carbon monoxide? This mixture is passed through the iodine pentoxide. Iodine pentoxide is a good oxidizing agent, okay, which can oxidize the carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide and itself is reduced to iodine. Now here the organic compound, okay, now heating it will give oxygen and some other gaseous products. Okay, now this oxygen treated with red hot coke to give carbon monoxide. You may have one doubt, sir, carbon can oxidize us, then it will give carbon dioxide also. Yes, but the carbon dioxide again treated with red hot coke, so CO2 partially reduced to carbon monoxide. Carbon dioxide partially reduced to what? Carbon monoxide. Now this carbon monoxide oxidized by iodine pentoxide to carbon dioxide, and iodine pentoxide reduced to what? Iodine. Now in this what happens, there are two formulae we have. By using these two formulae we can find the percentage of oxygen. The first formula can be used when the weight of the carbon dioxide we know. When the weight of the carbon dioxide we know, we can use this formula. In carbon dioxide, C plus O2 gives CO2. Okay, molar mass of CO2 44 in the denominator, molar mass of O2 32 numerator. If the mass of CO2 we know, so we can use this formula. And second formula, if we know the weight of the iodine, okay, if you know the weight of the iodine, 5 into 16, that is the 5 moles of CO, 1 mole of CO containing the 16 grams of oxygen, 5 moles of CO containing 5 into 16 grams of oxygen. Okay, this will give 1 mole of iodine. Iodine atomic weight we know 127, so 2 atoms are there, 2 into 127. So this is the mass of iodine divided by mass of the organic compound multiplied with 100. So this is the estimation of the oxygen. Okay, so from this video we completed the estimation of all the elements. Okay, thank you for watching.